Welcome to the Grow Rich podcast by Tech Help Canada, where we share the best online marketing and general business tips. Now for today's host.
Note, this episode includes AI-generated narration. Content strategy is what turns "we should post more" into a plan that supports your business goals. It helps you decide what to publish, who it's for, where it should live, and how you'll measure whether it's working. In fact, Content Marketing Institute's 2025 B2B research found that top-performing teams often credit success to fundamentals like understanding their audience, measuring performance, and having a documented strategy. In this guide, we'll break down a practical 3Cs model for content strategy: creation, curation, and conversation. When all three work together, you publish with more purpose, earn more trust, and build a stronger brand over time. Note that you'll see a few different 3CS frameworks in marketing. This one uses a practical way many teams think about content: creation, curation, and conversation. Here we're applying it to content strategy more broadly. 1. Creation. Creation is the foundation of any content strategy. It's the process of producing original content that aligns with what your audience needs and what your business is trying to achieve. Without a clear purpose, even strong writing and great design can fall flat because the content isn't aimed at anything specific. Strong content creation starts with a simple question: what is this piece for? Some content educates, some builds trust, some supports a decision. When you're clear on the job your content is meant to do, it's easier to choose the right topic, format, and distribution channel. Creation also works best when your voice and messaging feel consistent. You don't need to sound identical on every platform, but readers should be able to recognize your brand. Over time, that familiarity builds trust. Best practices for strong content creation. Start with one clear goal. Decide whether the piece is meant to educate, build credibility, drive signups, or support conversions. Know who you're writing for. A clear audience and their pain points makes your content sharper and more relevant. Keep your brand voice steady. Readers should feel the same personality and values across your posts, emails, and social content. Build an SEO thoughtfully. Use keywords naturally, but prioritize clarity and usefulness over keyword density. Review performance and adjust. Check what's resonating, then use that insight to guide future topics and formats. 2. Curation. Curation is the practice of selecting and sharing high-quality third-party content that's relevant to your audience. It's not the same as aggregation. Aggregation is often automated and purely volume-based. Curation is intentional. You choose content that aligns with your audience's interests and your brand's point of view. Done well, curation saves time while increasing trust. You're helping your audience sort through noise and focus on what's actually useful. That matters because people rarely rely on one source. Bright Local's 2026 survey found that the average consumer uses 6 different review sites when choosing businesses. Over time, curation positions your brand as a reliable resource, even when the content you're sharing didn't originate with you. The key is judgment. The goal isn't to only repost links, it's to add context and help your reader understand why something matters. Best practices for effective content curation. Curate with a clear purpose. Choose content that supports your audience's needs: education, awareness, decision support, or trends. Prioritize credible sources. Trust is hard to build and easy to lose, so source quality matters. Add your perspective. A short takeaway, interpretation, or other note makes curated content feel valuable, not lazy. Be consistent without overposting. A simple rhythm. Weekly roundup, monthly highlights is usually enough to stay present. Track engagement signals. Clicks, replies, and saves can show what your audience wants more of. Always give proper attribution. Credit the original creator clearly and avoid republishing full content without permission. If you want a deeper look at curation and how to do it without sounding like an aggregator, you can check out our content curation guide. 3. Conversation. The third C in this model is conversation. It's the part of content strategy that turns publishing into a two-way relationship. Instead of treating content as a broadcast, conversation focuses on building trust through real engagement with your audience across channels like social media, email, and blog comments. However, conversation isn't just about comments on those sorts of channels. Bright Local's 2026 survey found 80% of consumers are likely to use a business that responds to all reviews, while 42% are unlikely to use a business that never replies. It also found 50% of consumers are put off by generic templated responses. Conversation works best when it feels human. That doesn't mean you need to respond to everything instantly or be online all day. It means showing your audience that you're paying attention, that you care about feedback, and that you're willing to interact in a way that matches your brand's personality. And expectations are high. Sprout Social reports that nearly 3/4 of consumers expect a response within 24 hours or sooner. Some consumer brands are often cited for building loyalty through community-driven engagement and customer feedback loops. They can be useful examples, but the point isn't to copy a brand's style. It's to recognize what conversation can do when it's consistent and authentic. Best practices for conversational content: personalize interactions when it makes sense. Use what you know, like past purchases or content preferences, to keep replies relevant. Invite user-generated content. When people share their experiences, it builds credibility and gives others a reason to trust your brand. Respond promptly and genuinely. You don't need a perfect reply, you do need a real one. Use interactive formats. Polls, Q&As, and quick prompts can make engagement easier for your audience. Stay consistent in voice. Even short replies reinforce your brand when they sound like you. How the 3 C's work together to create a winning content strategy. When creation, curation, and conversation work together, your strategy becomes more balanced and sustainable. Creation gives your brand original value. Curation keeps you relevant without forcing you to create everything from scratch. Conversation builds trust and keeps your audience connected. The advantage is momentum. You publish useful content, reinforce your credibility with curated ideas, and keep improving through feedback. Over time, that mix can support stronger visibility and brand recognition, and it may contribute to more mentions and sometimes links over time. Final take: a strong content strategy is a mix, not a single tactic. Creation, curation, and conversation each play a different role. Creation builds original value. Curation builds trust by filtering what's worth paying attention to. Conversation builds loyalty by making your audience feel seen instead of marketed to. One useful way to think about the 3 C's model is balance. If you only create, you may burn out. If you only curate, you may struggle to stand out. If you only focus on conversation, you may not have enough substance to keep attention. A blended approach gives you a strategy that can grow with your brand. This was an audio version of an article from our blog, featuring AI-generated narration powered by HelperX Bot. You can find the full written article on Tech Help Canada, including sources and visuals. If you found this helpful, you can explore more on our website and subscribe or become a member for updates and perks.